There we go. We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another class with John. He's my 14-year-old student from Russia, and we are working on the impossible. While I train for the GRE, John is also training for the GRE. It's pretty interesting. I'm a lot older than him, and English is my native language. But he is learning how to take the GRE at the same time. It's difficult, it's frustrating, and he learned a lot, and so do I. So there you have it. All right, John, say hello to everyone.
Hello,
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Tell everyone how much you love me, John. I'm the best teacher you've ever had. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to get you to smile. You're so fun when you smile. Okay, are you ready?
Yes,
Okay, so go ahead and share your screen, please.
um,
So for those of you who are new, what we do is, this is a pretty long series. What we do is we watch some videos on how to take the GRE, what the GRE is all about, how you can prepare for the GRE. And then John is also working on listening and vocabulary building and reading. He's working extremely hard. And then a couple of times a week, we work on not only preparing for the GRE, but taking sample questions. So this is not meant to be stressful. It doesn't matter if he gets an answer wrong, or even if I get one wrong. It doesn't matter. What's happening is he is learning to read English in a natural English setting, as opposed to reading like the Russian version of English, which is what they have in classrooms a lot of times. So this is about exposure. It doesn't matter if the answer is not right. Now, also what you will notice is that the answer has already been made. Sometimes we've gotten the answer right, sometimes we've gotten it wrong. And what we do is we go through and read and answer, and then we come back and have a class where we talk about what has been learned. The focus here is on John being able to figure out what's going on with these difficult texts. And you have to keep in mind that this is intended for individuals who want to take the GRE, which is an exam that you take when you want to apply to graduate studies, to a graduate program in the US. All right, John, so what is the first thing that we do when we see a question like this?
we read the, um, like the question.
Okay, we have to read the directions. What do the directions say?
Choose the option that best answers the question.
Okay, and then before we look at the text, we look at what?
We look at argument. No, not argument. We look on the.
The left or right hand side?
The right.
Yeah, we want to look at the answers first. And we may not understand exactly what they're talking about because we haven't read the text yet, but we need a focus. We kind of need an idea of what's happening. So please read the answers or the options, and please read the right-hand side, the question, and then the options underneath.
Which of the following, if true, best casts doubt on the argument? In addition to elderberry, the Canadian elk also consumes loganberries, which are expected to also begin growing at more northerly latitudes.
Mhm.
During the summer months, many Canadian elk are hunted both for sport and for their meat.
Mm-hmm.
The grizzly bear, the Canadian elk's
Grizzly bear.
a grizzly bear, the Canadian elk's primary predator,
Predator.
a predator,
Uh-huh.
has also started moving north into the tundra. The permafrost, the region above the tundra, in which the temperatures never reach above freezing, will unlike see elderberry growth.
Well, what?
Uh, will unlikely see elderberry growth.
Mm-hmm.
Increasing temperatures have created conditions too warm for elderberry growth.
For what?
For elderberry growth,
Oh, you're not putting the E sound on the end, John. It sounds like elderbear growth.
uh,
Elderbear. But the word is berry. We have to hear the long E on the end.
elderberry growth
Yes.
in the southern half of the Canadian Elk's traditional territory.
Good. John, can you scroll down just a little bit? It's difficult to see that text.
Yes,
It's yeah, that's fine. Okay. So, do you remember? We haven't done this for months. This is a really old question. Do you remember this one?
yes, I do.
Mm. Okay, so we already know what the answer is. What we are going to do is talk about why the other answers don't work, why they're not correct. So we are reviewing this one. It's not about finding the answer, it's about talking about why each of the options work or why they don't work. Clear?
Yes,
Well, I can't see you. So if you were doing this or this, I can't see you. So you have to speak, okay?
okay.
Okay. Go ahead and read the left hand side.
The Canadian elk has traditionally been limited in its geographic range by the presence of elderberries, its primary source of food, which only grow up until a certain point in the tundra. A recent rise in temperatures, however, has seen a spread in the growth of elderberries northwards in the tundra. Therefore, the overall range of the Canadian elk can be expected to increase.
Okay, so when we have something like this, we know that they are making statements, and then we know that there is an argument. What is the argument here? What is the conclusion that we really need to pay attention to?
Uh, the last sentence.
Okay, read it.
Therefore, the overall range of the Canadian elk can be expected to increase.
Okay, so that's our argument. That means we need to understand everything that comes before it, and we need to know that this is the conclusion that they are reaching. This is the argument that they are making. That's the only way that we can answer the information on the right hand side. Okay, what is a Canadian elk?
Canadian elk is an animal.
What kind of animal? What does it look like?
Mm, it's a big. It is tall.
Yeah, and it has
Mm,
antlers. It has
yeah.
antlers. Okay, so what is that first section saying?
Um, the first section says that that Canadian elk mm, ha- has has been limited in its geographic range by the presence of elderberries,
Why?
um, because it no, it is his primary source of food.
Okay, what does it mean to be limited in geographic range? It's kind of a fancy way of saying something pretty simple.
That he mm, can't go out of the mm, some from some
Some
place,
area.
some area. Yes,
Yeah. I'm an artist. Did you know I'm an artist?
artist.
An
No.
artist. I mean, I can draw very wonderful pictures.
Mm,
Okay, I've drawn a wonderful picture. Look at that art. Isn't that wonderful? You want to pay me a lot of money for this art, don't you?
um,
Okay, so we have a Canadian elk and we have the berries. It has to be in this area because there are berries. Actually, a certain type of berry. What kind of berries are these?
elderberries.
Okay, so it helps if you can have a visual for yourself. If you can understand what you are reading, it helps if you can draw little images really quickly while you're reading. So the Canadian elk, the animal, has to be in the area where elderberries are because that is their primary source of food. That is what they eat more of than anything else. What else do we know about elderberries?
Mm, that it grows only in a certain point in the tundra. Um, or
So let's say that this is the tundra. Are berries everywhere in the tundra?
no,
They are only, elderberries specifically, they are only in certain parts of the tundra. So all of this is the tundra. We have Canadian elks and we have elk berries. In the tundra, the Canadian elk has to be where the elderberries are. Got it?
yes,
Okay, read the next section, please.
a recent rise in temperatures, however, has seen a spread in the growth of elderberries northwards into the tundra.
Mm, a recent rise in temperatures. What does that mean?
That it becomes warmer.
Mm,
Became,
okay. A recent rise in temperatures, however, has seen a spread in the growth of elderberries northwards into the tundra. What happened here? The temperatures are warmer, and what happened?
and elderberries um, now grow and elderberry growth northwards in the tundra. Mm, there.
Try to use your own words. Don't read what you're seeing.
mm,
The
but-
temperature has increased, and
and now elderberries grow in in the north of tundra, more
the northern,
northern tundra.
the northern part, you can say that. Can you see what I'm typing in?
Oh, I can't even see you.
You can't see me. Why didn't you tell me?
I thought you know.
No, I'm sitting here looking at myself. I can see me. Hold on. Let's see.
I'm looking at my screen as a question.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I see. So you're in. Oh, okay. Well, northern. How do you spell that? I'm going to really exaggerate the pronunciation. Northern. How do you spell that?
Northern. N.
Okay, so it's saying has seen a spread in the growth of elderberries northwards in two. Another way of saying that would be has seen a spread in the growth of elderberries in the northern parts.
Let's see.
Got it? So it's
Yes.
gotten warmer. And what happened when it got warmer?
The elderberries grow,
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 past tense.
uh, grow, grow, grew,
John. Yeah, okay.
elderberries grew,
Where
northern,
in
uh, in the northern tundra,
the northern parts.
northern parts of tundra,
The tundra. You need an article.
the tundra.
Yes, you have so much to remember right now. You're doing great though. Okay, so the Canadian elk are in the tundra. The elkberries are in the tundra, but only in certain parts. It is getting warmer, and the elkberries are growing into the northern parts of the tundra. Therefore, what is the argument being made?
Therefore, the overall range of Canadian elk can
Of the, where's your
of
article?
the Canadian elk can be expected to increase.
What does that mean in your own words?
That there will be more Canadian elks. The no, the
No.
range where there can come or
Yeah, good
the
job, John.
range
Their range. Their range.
their range
Mhm.
uh,
And
become
what does range mean again?
range means an area where they can go.
Yes. What's going to happen to the range?
Is going to increase.
It's going to increase. They will have more places to go.
Yes.
Okay, so that is our argument. Which of the following, if true, best casts doubt on the argument? What are we looking for?
We are looking the for something that um, will that we can ask a question. We can read this and ask a question to the argument
Ask a question about.
about
So
about
I understand what you're saying. Remember, to challenge. Remember that?
yes,
To try to disprove. You're saying to ask a question. That's not. It's close, but it's not exactly right. What they are doing is they're asking a question, but they are asking a question for the purpose of challenging.
yes, let's see.
Okay, and so we want to find the argument. We are going to say that all of these arguments are true. So we are not looking for what is true or false. We are looking for the answer that best challenges this argument.
Okay.
Are all of these answers true or false?
Um, we don't know.
Yes, we do. Which of the
uh,
following, if true, they're saying basically you need to think that all of them are true.
uh,
So all of them are
let's see.
true. Well, we are going
Let's
to
see.
pretend that they are all true. So we don't need to figure out if it is true or false. We simply need to find out which one of these best challenges the argument.
Mm, let's see.
Okay, so we already know the answer. We need to talk about why the wrong answers don't work as well.
Okay.
Read.
In addition to elderberry, the Canadian elk also consumes loganberries, which are expected to also begin growing at more northerly latitudes.
Explain it. Why doesn't it work so well here?
Um, the
Okay.
range is not going to increase because um, I see. It's it's the range is going, but it will not increase. If the loganberries are going to um, grow in north northern lands,
Wait
not
a minute, John. Wait. 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 Stop doing that. Think about what you want to say and then say it. But think about what you want to say first. Take your time. Think about what you want to say and then say it.
mm, loganberries like elderberries are going to grow into northern parts of tundra,
The
so
tundra.
that tundra, so the range will be still the same. Mm, The range is not going to increase.
Oh, no. I see what you're saying, but John, it's saying that it is. Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, God, you are so smart. You're making a more advanced argument. They are not saying that the range would increase beyond. They're not saying that the elderberries are here and then loganberries are going to be further. Loganberries. They're not saying that the loganberries are going to be further than the elderberries. They are saying that the elderberry and the logan are going to grow together.
Yes.
They're not asking you if the John, they're talking about the overall range. You're making a more advanced argument here. You're making it a little more complicated. Okay, a recent rise in temperature has seen a spread in the growth of elderberries northwards into the tundra. Therefore, the overall range of the Canadian elk can be expected to increase. Hmm. I think that what you're saying works here, though. I think what you're saying works.
Mm,
Hmm. Gosh, you totally saw that in a different way. You're so smart. Okay, so the Canadian elk also consumes loganberries. The loganberries are growing with the elderberry. Do we know which one grows further than the other one?
No.
It just sounds like they are growing together. which are expected to also begin growing at more northerly latitudes. So you are saying that this does not cast doubt on the argument. The overall range of the Canadian elk can be expected to increase. It doesn't cast doubt.
Yes.
Okay, let's look at the next one. I'm going to close my camera. I need to get Kleenex for a second. But go ahead, John. Read the next one.
Okay. During the summer months, many Canadian elk are hunted both for sport and for their meat. I have
Okay. We already know that it doesn't cast doubt. You're going to tell me why.
okay. I think that every summer many Canadian elk are hunted both for sport and for their meat, so it's not specific for this year, and the their population is still the same. It's, every year, it happens every year.
No,
Mm,
this has nothing to do, this argument
mm,
has nothing to do with range.
ah, yes.
There may be fewer elk because they are being hunted. You know, they're being hunted, but
Uh,
are they being hunted because they go into the north?
no,
This is not saying anything about their range.
uh,
It's just
I see.
saying they're hunted.
I see.
So why does this not cast doubt?
Mm, because it has nothing to do with the range of the Canadian elk.
Do we know where they're hunted? It doesn't really matter, but do we know where they are hunted?
No, we don't.
Yeah, they could be hunted here. They could also be hunted in more of the northern region. We don't know. We just know that they're hunted during the summer months.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. Okay. All right, next.
The grizzly bear, the Canadian elk's primary predator, predator,
Predator.
predator, has
Uh-huh.
also started moving north into the tundra.
Uh-huh.
Um, um, I think that um, it's not cast doubt the argument because um,
John, it does not. Repeat after me. It does
uh, it,
not.
it does not cast doubt the argument on the argument
Yes.
because mm, maybe because the grizzly bear has nothing to do with the range and
Yeah, they're talking about the grizzly bear's range, not the Canadian elk's range. So it's kind of like the hunters. Well, the
yeah,
grizzly bear is going to hunt the elk, but it still has nothing to do with the Canadian elk's range.
Yes.
So it's like the last one in some ways.
Yes, I
Okay.
see. And next,
Uh-huh.
the permafrost, the region above the tundra, in, in which the temperatures never reach above freezing, will unlike sea elderberry grow.
Well, what?
Will unlikely see elderberry grow.
Hmm.
If the elderberry grows in permafrost region, um,
In the
in the permafrost um,
region.
the region, the the Canadian elks um, range will increase, as the argument says, and it does not cast doubt on the argument.
The permafrost, the region above the tundra in which the temperatures never. It says that they will unlikely see elderberry growth,
Uh,
John.
Unlikely.
Unlikely. So let's get a visual. We have the tundra and we have, you can see now.
Oh,
We
yeah,
have the tundra and we have the permafrost region up here.
I see.
Okay, so you have to picture them. The elk is here. Whoops, the elk is here. That's not right. The elk is here. And he's going to start to go northern into the northern regions of the tundra. And then above that is the permafrost region. Okay, let's go back to Magoosh.
Unlikely means that they're not there will be no elderberry.
Hmm.
I see.
But here's the thing, John, is it doesn't matter if you're talking about the tundra or the permafrost or, whatever comes above the permafrost region. The argument is that the overall range can be expected to increase. We're not saying how far it will increase. So they're telling us about the permafrost region. Okay, so there will not be elderberries in the permafrost region. Okay, but the Canadian elk are further down south. And we know that there will be more elderberries in the northern region, and so they are starting to go north. We're not promising how far north they will go. We're just saying that they will go north. So does it matter if they go into the permafrost region or not?
It does not. It doesn't matter.
What?
No, it doesn't matter.
That's correct. The question is the overall range. Do you know what overall means?
It's like all range.
Yeah, the entire range.
That's the entire range.
So maybe the elk, and not elks, John, it's elk. No S. I think I make that mistake sometimes too, but it's just elk. So the point is that the elk may not go to the permafrost region, but are they still increasing their range in the tundra?
Yes.
Mm. So does this cast doubt?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Let's look at the last one and talk about why that one works.
Increasing temperatures have created conditions too warm for elderberry growth in the southern half of the Canadian elk's traditional territory. I think this one casts doubt on the argument because um, if the if the conditions became too warm for elderberry growth in the southern half, in the south
Southern,
in the
southern,
southern part of tundra,
the
uh,
tundra.
all that tundra,
Mhm.
and uh, and elderberries start to grow in northern parts. Uh, no, sorry, it's it's begin growing in northern parts of tundra. Um, the range is still the same. So in south it became less. In south it's less elderberries, and in north it's more elderberries.
They're not saying that though, are they? Are they saying that there will be?
Um,
Are
it,
they saying that there will be more elderberries in the north?
um, no.
Okay, I want you to try explaining it to me again. I don't think I'm clearly understanding what you're saying, but make sure you use your articles, and then
Mm,
we will probably watch the video on this one or read the text.
okay.
So try again. Try to help me to understand what you're saying.
Uh, if the conditions too warm for elderberry growth in the southern part of tundra, the there will be the elderberry will be there will be there are less elderberry in southern parts of tundra, and
Mm. Okay.
and if the temperatures are increased in the northern parts of um,
They're
tundra,
not talking about the northern parts, John. They're just talking about the southern parts.
mm, yeah,
If
but
if they have less room in the south, if they have less berries in the south, fewer berries in the south, is their overall range increasing or decreasing?
decreasing.
So even if they move up north, their overall range means, maybe, oh, you can't see me. So maybe they have access to more in the north, but if they don't have access to berries in the south, their overall range is decreasing. Or
Mm,
maybe it stays the same.
mm, I see.
So they have more range in the north, but they have less range in the south.
Mm,
So is the overall range. That's the key word here. Their overall range.
I see.
So let's say that they have a 2 mile range. I'm sure it's much more than that. But let's say that they have a 2 mile range. And then they want to go up north for another 2 miles. That gives them an overall range of 4 miles. If they don't have access in the south to elderberries, let's say they only have 1 mile of access to elderberries in the south, and then two in the north. That gives them a range of 3 miles.
Mm,
Did their range increase or decrease?
decreased.
And maybe it could stay the same. You take away 2 miles from the south and you add 4 miles in the north. Or maybe you add 2 miles in the north. So you take away the miles that you have access to elderberries in the south, and you say, okay, well, I'm going to get 2 miles in the north. The range stays the same.
Mhm. I see.
Okay. Let's watch the, not watch the video, but let's look at the explanation
Um,
for each of these and make sure that we didn't miss anything. John, does it help you to review these like this?
yes, it does.
It's so much harder the first time, though, isn't it? When we're trying to understand it the first time, it's like, oh my goodness, what is going on? Okay, the argument is that the elk's territory will grow because the elderberry, its primary food source, is expected to grow further north. E calls this conclusion into question. Because if elderberries can no longer grow in the southern half of the elk's territory, then oh my God, I did not look at this the right way, John. We were calling this into question. This is why it was wrong the first time. There is no information concerning how far north the new territory will reach. This is tricky. I actually just misled you again. I just misled you. Because, John, remember we were supposed to be looking at the argument that best challenged the argument.
I see.
Yeah. So I just made an argument for it not challenging. I did it the wrong way. Such a bad teacher. Well, guys, this is why we are studying the GRE. It is really weird. It's difficult. It's difficult, but we answer the questions and we review them, and it's hard for both of us, as you can see. But we'll stick with it. So, John, can you explain to me the mistake that I just made?
Mm, no.
You can't. I was making an argument for why it did work. And we were supposed to be making an argument for why it didn't work.
I see.
Can you go back up?
Oh, is it okay?
Yeah, yeah, I can see it. Which of the following, if true, best casts doubt on the argument? Increasing temperatures have created conditions too warm for elderberry growth in the southern half of the Canadian Elk's traditional territory. There is going to be less elderberry growth in the south, and they are going north. Actually, John, I think we did it the right way. I'm sorry for confusing you, but I think we did it the right way. The overall range of the Canadian elk can be expected to increase. And we said, no, it's not necessarily going to increase because we just don't have enough information. We don't know how far north they are going. And we don't know if their range is increasing or decreasing or remaining the same. We just don't know. Actually, I think we answered it the right way. Are you confused?
Mm, now I understand.
Okay, so what did you learn in this essay other than the fact that your teacher can really confuse you? What did you learn with this one?
Mm, I learned that I have to
What did we learn about the GRE in this question?
About GRE, that
Mhm.
these are very tricky questions.
It is tricky, yeah. You know, sometimes when we have questions, we are looking at the answer that is true. You know, which of these answers is most true? But that was not what we worked on here. They basically said, assume that all of the answers are true. And then they wanted us to tell them which answer casts doubt on the argument. Remind me of where the argument is in these questions normally, John.
The last sentence.
Usually. Usually. And here we actually need the last two. A recent rise in temperatures, however, has seen a spread in the growth of, just to understand the context, but the last statement, the last sentence is going to be the actual argument. Therefore, the overall range of the Canadian elk can be expected to increase. That is our argument. And so we needed to keep that in mind. I think that is something that I see. It's that I need to remember what the argument is, and then I need to remember what we are doing. What is the argument? The elk's range is going to increase. And what is the goal? The goal is to find an answer that best casts doubt. So we have to keep the argument in mind, and we have to keep in mind what the goal is. Are we trying to find the truth? Are we trying to challenge the argument? I need to keep the argument in mind, and you need to keep the argument in mind. And we also need to keep in mind what we are doing.
Mm,
Okay.
okay.
All right, I'm going to stop the broadcast here. Good job, by the way.